Savannah stood on the rooftop of her studio, a towering skyscraper that pierced the skyline of the bustling city below. From her vantage point, 50 stories above, the cityscape stretched out like a vast, living organism. The last rays of the setting sun cast a golden glow over the buildings, transforming the glass and steel structures into shimmering beacons. The gentle hum of the city life, a blend of distant traffic, and the murmurs of the evening crowd, rose up to her. She had spent the past hour pacing the edge of the rooftop, her new wings unfurled behind her. The wings, a magnificent blend of iridescent feathers, shimmered in the dying light, a stark contrast to her life before, shackled by fear. She'd learned to unfurl her wings as well as hover a few feet off the ground. What she hadn't yet mastered was flight. What red-blooded human alive wouldn't jump off the rooftop of their studio once relatively certain they understood the mechanics for flight? The rooftop was a secluded haven, adorned with potted plants and modern sculptures that stood like silent guardians under the open sky. The wind whispered secrets as she stepped closer to the edge, her heart pounding in her chest. The old Savannah would have recoiled from such a reckless act, but now, with wings that promised freedom, she was tempted. She closed her eyes, feeling the rush of air, the pull of the unknown. Am I really doing this? She thought, her mind a whirlwind of excitement and trepidation. The silver lining of knowing she'd wind up back in death's waiting room did not negate the fear of dying. She had 1 hour before the clock struck 12 to herald her 30th trip around the sun. Nothing in the world would stop her from flying before a demon came to claim her soul. With a deep breath, she leapt. The sensation of falling was exhilarating, terrifying, and utterly new. She opened her wings wide, feeling them catch the air. Instead of the lift she'd anticipated, she plummeted toward the ground. Panic surged through her. The unfairness of a short-lived life burned like acid in the back of her throat as she watched her second death approach faster than her first. A scream froze in her throat as panic held her breath hostage. This wasn't how it was supposed to happen. A familiar rage stomped out her fear. The universe or god or goddess or cosmic space dust couldn't let her at least fly before she'd lost her freedom as well as her soul. She'd died in her magnum opus, at the hands of a man she could have killed 6 different ways as he lunged at her with a paltry pocket knife. If the powers that be thought to break her, they hadn't been paying attention. Living off rage and chaos was as familiar to her as breathing. The ground grew closer and closer until she braced for impact. At the last moment, strong arms enveloped her, halting her descent. She opened her eyes to Azrael's concerned gaze.
You really should learn to fly before trying to soar from such heights.
He chided gently, setting her down on the rooftop. The soft thud of their landing echoed in the quiet evening air. Savannah's relief quickly turned to frustration. Why didn't you teach me then, instead of leaving me to figure it out on my own? She snapped, brushing off her wings. The conversation shifted abruptly as Azrael's expression grew serious.
I didn't come here to lecture you on flying.
He said, his voice low.
There's something you need to know. Your soul, it's bound by an ancient curse.
Savannah's heart sank. She had hoped this secret would remain buried. The curse, a shadow from her family's past, was something she had learned to live with, a reminder of a destiny she was determined to defy. You think I don't know that? She said, her voice tinged with defiance. I've spent my life preparing to break free from it. Azrael looked taken aback by her knowledge and determination.
You don't understand, Savannah. It's not just about defiance. This curse, it's...
I don't have time for ancient myths, she interrupted, turning away. I have my own fate to write. As she walked back towards the rooftop door, her mind raced. She had wings now, a symbol of her newfound freedom and strength. She wouldn't let an old curse dictate her path. Azrael followed, his voice tinged with frustration.
You're missing the point, Savannah. This isn't about myths. It's about survival.
Savannah stopped, facing him. My survival is in my hands now. I've lived in fear long enough. The tension between them shifted, a palpable charge in the air. Savannah stepped closer, her gaze locked with Azrael's. She could sense his confusion, his concern, and something more, something she hadn't expected. Desire. Maybe there's something else we can think about instead of curses, she whispered, closing the gap between them. She was running out of time and didn't want a failed launch off a rooftop to be her last memory on Earth. When he hesitated, she grabbed his suit jacket and pulled his lips toward hers. Their kiss was a clash of emotions, a mix of desperation and longing. Savannah felt a surge of power, knowing she held more than just Azrael's attention. She had his desire, his confusion, all swirling in a maelstrom that she was all too willing to stir. But as quickly as it started, Azrael pulled away.
I can't.
He murmured, his voice strained. What damsel doesn't reward her savior with a kiss? Savannah smiled and stepped back into his personal space. He put his hands on her shoulders and held her at arm's length.
I can't, and I won't.
His face held an expression that defied his words. Green flame burned behind his different-colored irises. Before she could verbalize a response, he unfurled his wings and shot into the air. Savannah watched him retreat, a mix of frustration and determination welling up inside her. She had wings now, a symbol of her newfound power. She would not be bound by the past, by curses, or by unspoken rules. Tonight, she would start rewriting her story on her own terms.